the meat.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Logan. This is Mostly Superheroes. Got PC Mike and the Giggler. We're going to earn that name in the later half right now in this episode, Mostly Superheroes. We got a feature for you from the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Before we get there, I want to highlight some stuff that we're actually reading. Kept it in the superhero section. We've highlighted a couple of these kind of on an ongoing basis the last few episodes, but they're actually here in studio for the very first time. Giggler, why don't you go and show us a few of the things you got here?
Yeah.
The first up, I mean, look at this thing. The Marvel Encyclopedia.
It's bigger than my head. There's a fact here.
Right in front of your
Completely
face. I love
blocks
it.
my whole head.
That's great.
It is just massive. This probably weighs 10 pounds.
Very big. You've had it now for a couple weeks.
Haven't read this much. I've went through the whole history of the Marvel Universe.
So that's the second book, The History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid. Go ahead and hold that one up. This is the one that we heard by from the Omnibus Collector on TikTok. Looks really fresh. Looks really good. This one,
gonna pull this open just so you can see it.
No, go ahead. Open it up because I know that last time you were in studio, you said that you had read half of this. Where are you now?
I just finished this. So
wow.
Civil War
depicted
right there.
basically.
And I spend just as much time reading these pages as I do just kind of like admiring the art.
Yes.
Which I'll just admit I've never been a big actual comic book reader.
Yep.
So
that's our whole thing.
Weird,
we're
like going backwards, yeah. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that are in the same boat as us in that.
Can you imagine how pleased Stan Lee would be if he knew that we watched these movies and now we are becoming like readers?
I hope he's watching us.
He's up there.
A watcher.
He's a watcher. He's up there looking down like, I knew it would happen like this. This is awesome. So you've been enjoying this stuff.
Oh yeah, this is so cool. It basically, the history of the Marvel Universe starts out basically half of it's animated in like chronological order. They just kind of touch on certain storylines and kind of little offshoots, like something like basically some little excerpts like are basically just one page where you might not hear about it, but you can see the theme of what they talk about, the big players the most.
It's the most iconic stuff and like a condensed type of the story. I mean, it's exactly what a fan of the MCU that's wanting to read something needs to maybe get on board.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all in one book.
There's some new things I read in here that I wasn't really specifically aware of, and also the whole time I'm just kind of thinking in my head, I'm like, would this be fun to see on screen? Like this that they're describing, and I'm seeing this, maybe some things for the first time. Like there was a lot about Eternals and Celestials in here, and I'm like, wow.
Well, be honest. I want you to be honest. Did you ever feel like you were being spoiled? Like, do you think things are spoiling for you because you're learning just enough just to know because it's never the same as what's in the comics anyway. It's always like a variation of the story.
I think it's just kind of like what we talk about. I mean, I think what we're not talking about, we're just as smart as everyone else that's on Reddit deep diving in all these things, and look how many things that we got spoiled or quote unquote, I guess,
just from being on the internet. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that how many things were we wrong about?
Yeah,
more than not. I think they still keep us on our toes to where they're not just copying from this on screen.
And that's usually what was happening. He was like, oh, in WandaVision, that's why Mephisto kept coming up, because someone identified it and then ran with it so hard, like that was like, this is what's going to happen.
I think they did that on purpose, though.
It could be, yeah.
You think so? You think that was like a play?
All the clocks, weren't they all at 6?
Oh, so you think they were like, there was something
trolling?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, though, so you're having a good experience.
Yeah. So as soon as I'm going to reread this now and kind of accompany it with the encyclopedia, and once I get to something that I need to know more about, like just for instance, like the Eternals trailer came out, and I looked through this just to get an idea, and you can read in 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, and know what they are, and it gives you a better idea of what to expect.
Look up like the character names.
Yeah, that's exactly. You can go just look at the Eternals, then there's a listing of each person that's in there, so you can go look at their page. This thing is a beast.
Giggler, I think I just got to say, you got me excited about books again.
I'm going. You think the teacher would be doing that?
Those devil things.
I thought Mike could be coming here talking about like Hooked on Phonics or what was the
Book It.
Book It.
You want a personal pan? That's the best pizza you'll ever have.
Oh, you get a personal pan from Pizza Hut. Yeah. You get a backpack.
Yeah.
You get every kind of candy.
You get a button.
Dude, I read those Harry Potter books like all for Book It in one school year, And I mean, you do all those books. They were like the most amount of points. I had so many book points.
I just cheated and said that I read
You
them,
had
but I
AR
really didn't.
points.
AR points is what we called it. You're right. I'm always talking to a broader audience. I mean, a lot of people probably have no idea what we're talking about.
You got points for reading books.
You got points for.
And you didn't cheat at all, probably.
Maybe we'll do like a mostly superheroes type of thing where every Marvel thing you read, you get like a token.
And he has 2.
And he's got 2 tokens.
Yep.
Wanted to highlight something on my end too. I know you got one more piece that's more in the DC arena. Let's save that for coming up. Right now, just keeping it in the MCU. I had to highlight this Time magazine, a special edition, The Story of Marvel. It's going to be on newsstands until July 26th. So it's like out there and about right now, like at your local grocery store. That's where I bought mine, here at Schnucks, here in St. Louis. I cannot recommend this enough. And man, oh man, this would have been very, very helpful during our rewatch because they essentially
Tell you what to look for.
Oh, they did what we did. I mean, it goes from all the way from the birth of Marvel Comics and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and the whole story from the very, very early beginnings all the way through one movie at a time of the MCU with a synopsis, a time review.
You could have just read that.
The budget and everything in order. But either way, I know we could have used it. We might read something for Captain Marvel today. But I highly recommend it. It is just so much fun to read. You really learn about the history of Marvel Comics, where Stan Lee came from, the roots, and how it has exploded into the worldwide phenomenon today. Go out there and get it, Time Magazine, at your local grocery store. Support local. All right, so talking about
newsstand.
Or newsstand.
If they're around.
I'll lend this to you guys if you want to check it out.
Okay.
We can do.
Same.
Hey,
Trade
these.
Mostly Superheroes Book Club. I think Scott, actually, I just stole this idea. Scott said, like, we should do, like, a book club idea. I was like, yeah, maybe. And now I'm like, he was spot on.
Yeah.
He was spot on. More to come.
Comic of the month or graphic novel of the month.
Just something, or, you know what you read.
Whoa. Big brains over here.
And what you reading, isn't that what it is?
It's going to be just me reading this book for the next 6 years.
I mean, I think that's going to be like a helpful tool. I'm going to get one of those here in the studio. So if we need to look up something on the spot, we got PC Mike and Encyclopedia Giggler.
And, there we go. I'm also getting a laptop soon, so
Wow.
only for use here, basically. So
Oh my gosh. I feel honored. So we're going to have we're going to have 2 computers over here now?
my roommate's about to leave, so
you're
he's got to get his
getting-
Best Buy. I got to use his Best Buy discount as much as I can.
Congratulations. What a cool problem.
Just hoard. Bunch of TVs.
I'll
gotta
take
go
one of
buy-
everything.
I got to go buy a computer.